I also understand that Dalit autobiographies, when they were written, they were not only I want to say that people should know about me and this is inspiring. No, it was not that. It was not that. The reason I understand for a Dalit autobiography to come up were different. I understand that it's a mode of self-expression. It's definitely a mode, autobiography generally, it's definitely a mode of self-expression, but it was all the more important for this community that has been muted for centuries already. There was no voice even within the community. If I talk about Dalit women, whose autobiographies also I have taken into consideration, for them, there was no voice at all. The community in itself had no voice, and definitely there is a pile of emotions. There is a pile of pain, anger, that's all that needed a vent. And autobiography was that genre that helped them to vent out their pent up emotions. It is a historical record, definitely. Dalit autobiographies, the real lived experiences of the Dalit community, are an important historical document for us. The way it is projected as an outside observer with a tinge of sympathy. Yes, that aspect or that side or that representation, I'm not saying it is faulty, but it is not complete. The way they have lived their life, what about their culture? What about their social setup? What about their life? How they have lived? Nobody has gone into those details. These details you will find only when you read the Dalit autobiographies, and you will find and you will be amazed to know that, oh, the culture is so rich. They have so many things to tell. They have so many things that they do in a very different way. So many things that can be learned. But those things, unfortunately, were not recorded. So these autobiographies are not to be read, as per my understanding, only as a literary piece of work. It should also be read as historical record, a correction of history, what has been reported and what has actually happened. The same thing that had happened with the history books that were written about India. So that also we had rectified to a great extent that it did not happen that way, or it was the way it was reported that did not happen that way. It was this way. So this alternate autobiography, I feel, should not be read only as a literary piece of work, as a work of art, but also it should be considered from this side as well, the historical aspect that looks into, talks about, encapsulates many aspects that I have mentioned just a while ago. Then, when I say that the Dalit autobiographies came a bit late, by late 20th century, you can obviously understand that the life narratives of the Dalit women appeared later than that, for a very simple reason that it took time for the women to come up on the stage for their education and every other thing. So those aspects are definitely there that we can obviously understand that yes, these were the reasons by because of which the Dalit women's autobiographies, it came a bit later than that of the male autobiographies, but once they were there, they had made an important mark. They have they have rather changed or given a new sight, a new vision only, a new line only for the feminism to look into the various aspects. And that's how we have the Dalit feminism coming into being, and then the entire feminism, Dalit feminism, those debates are there. Yeah. So from this slide onwards, I'm going to discuss all those aspects that have, you know, that those that understanding of Dalit autobiographies, and that will help you to develop a fair understanding of Dalit autobiographies, and also why I say that it is a journey from trials to triumph. I'll move to that slide now. The first aspect that every Dalit autobiography by default mentions is the castes, how they have suffered, how they have been neglected, how they have been marginalized. Everything that has happened in their life is because of this system, which, let me clarify here, was not meant the way it has turned out to be. A mode of social stratification it was. A lot of people have this misunderstanding that India always had this casteism and we always had this upper caste, lower caste. We were a people who never had any sympathy, empathy for, for one community. No, it was not like that. It was never. Uh, please tell this to the people who project this wrong information about the nation. Ours has been one nation which has always learned, rather told the world, showed the world the way how things have to work out in a systematic manner. And it was a manner, it was a mode of social stratification so that things turn out so that everything works out in a smooth manner and there should be no chaos. This term in itself is pretty new and pretty, recent in terms of circulation and how people have understood it. It was not like that. But yes, over a period of time, we have to accept how things changed and how over a period of time, this entire system that was meant for some other purpose turned out to be how we understand a system of exploitation. So, right from religion, right from the people associated, everything got into into the caste, and that is what has created the problem for the lower caste people, the so-called lower caste people. So this is one aspect that all Dalit autobiographies mention without a exception. It is because of this system, the condition in which they are today, or their forefathers have been, or the reason why they are suffering today, or why the things that could have been in their life the way they wanted, despite putting a lot of effort, things did not change, did not work the way they wanted. And that is one unfortunate. So that is one aspect that adds to their trials, the first and the most important aspect. Followed by this is the poverty, the economic status. Definitely, when these people were not considered significant enough, important enough for anybody for that matter in the society, nobody had time to look into the aspect how they were living, what were the conditions, what were the life conditions they were living. All that we have been interested, or our focus was, they have to work for us. How they are living, how they are surviving, under what conditions are they living, that was never. And poverty had been a part and parcel of this community for a very long time. Even today, unfortunately, even today, when the things have changed for better, when the things have improved to such a great extent, still, this is one factor that still adds to their trials every day. Still, the attempts are being made, and this is one factor that had always added trouble, has always been one reason for which they were always in trouble. So, when the work that they were doing, for them, there was nothing, absolutely nothing that you can say is significant that is given to them in return. What did they actually get? The leftover food, the clothes that were discarded, torn to be uh, better put in dustbin. What did they get? A corpse, a dead animal, so that they can drag it away, dump the body, and use that flesh to quench their hunger? Yes, this is what has happened to them. And the inhuman condition in which they have lived. If you read Baby Kamle's autobiography, there are numerous aspects where she talks about how it was so very difficult for them to live in there. If you read Lakshman Mane's autobiography, if you had paid attention, on the cover page itself, there was a donkey on which few items on the back of a donkey there were few items, and that's what their life was. That was all the things that belonged to them. That was all. So this was the condition in which they had lived. So definitely, if you look into the Dalit autobiographies, casteism, where they were very vocal about it. Baby Kamle's autobiography, for that matter, she rips the entire caste system apart and says that how is it possible? How can a human being do this to another human being? And Narendra Jadav's autobiography also, for that matter, when the boy was not able to drink water from the well, the little water that was spilled, and a dog came and drank that water, he was asking himself, is my position worse than even this dog? The dog can have water from this well, but I cannot. What is it? What wrong have I done? When he tells about his parents, his grandparents, how things have happened. So that is the condition, the poverty, the way they were living. If you read Limbali's autobiography, it's at the Academy Award winner. The condition in which they were living, how Limbali was reared up, in what condition, what the grandmother used to do, what the mother used to do, used to run a toddy shop, and how they were surviving on pennies, how difficult it was. So that is not something that has happened to them for some days, for some weeks, for some years. It has happened to them for centuries altogether. And that's not easy. Not easy to live with these kind of trials that test your very, living, your existence every day.